Good morning, welcome to a morning review. This is Kim Watson speaking on Monday the 22nd of June. Okay, let's look at the euro dollar first, and as you can see, yesterday, Friday, we managed we had a shooting star. Thursday, Friday a hammer. Real indecisive market effectively in terms of where we're going. Short term wise, I'm looking at we've got the weekly pivot below us, we've got the daily pivot below us. And well, whilst we're in this sort of zone of summits to agree, yet another summit to agree some sort of solution on Greece, we may just see it slip off. It depends on really whether the agreement's made, which could happen in some extent to today, or at least partial agreement, which may just see a rally in the euro, but not too sure how much of an agreement's been built into this euro, the way it's moved over the last week or two. In terms, there's almost an expectation that something's going to happen well here, and the euro's sort of been running up. So we may see a follow-through break if there is some sort of agreement made. But I wonder, as I say, how much it will actually run through from there. And if there isn't one, well, we could drop quite quickly by several points, I reckon. Now, looking at where we are now, last week we popped into those prior highs there. If we can push up higher, I'd look at Thursday's highs and then the highs from the previous month. At the moment, though, I'm looking at the potential, as I say, for it to run down towards the 113.24 sort of area. Looking at an hourly point of view, we've had this sort of quite steep trend. There is a bit of a gap going on below us, which could be filled there, which wasn't filled. It sort of partially filled the gap, but there is a bit of a gap below, so that could at least see us coming back down towards the daily pivot, and as I say, if not the weekly pivot itself. So watching that quite carefully. Now that's just pure technical. The fundamentals could get in the way a little bit. Okay, pound dollar. So let's have a look at the big picture first. Not too dissimilar in terms of shooting starry sort of pattern, hanging mat or doji, the sitting there on Friday, already into new highs. We've been running into the monthly 200 moving average. It's struggling around that area. Maybe it will come back down, have a bit of a retracement. It's quite a steep move up here. Now we've finally got a down bar sitting in there with that doji, slight down bar there. So any sort of rallies, any good news would, as I say, go back up to those highs, maybe break them this time. We'll see. But we have got targets below us, namely the weekly pivot and the daily pivot sitting. Although I think the daily pivot's been hit there, so or it's a smidgen away from being hit. But at the moment, break of the this sort of low at these lows, and the daily pivot hit sort of level here, could see us coming off to Friday's low, so maybe a bit further down. Ranges were a bit smaller on Friday, not surprising, but I've also got the weekly pivot below us on the cable, so we'll be looking for a much bigger correction there. Got a bit overbought on Friday this morning, through the Asian session rather. So any sort of decent retraces to support, watching for any move back towards that region. Doesn't always happen, but may do. Right, okay, dollar yen. Dollar yen, we've got, well, again, support sort of sitting around the monthly pivot, it seems to be. Has got the weekly pivot above us again, so inverted. May see these sort of levels. If we see a break of this trend line, I've drawn it on here, yep. If we see the break of the trend line on these hourlies here, could see it coming back up towards Friday's highs there, which would be the weekly pivot as well, and all would be sorted nicely. There's a good chance that it's closed its gap over the Asian session, so a reasonable chance of that happening. Alternatively, a break to the low side where we've got support on the monthly pivot. Beyond that, well, we really need to come back to the bigger picture and looking. Well, a decent move could see us running back down towards that 50 MA. We've got the hourly 200 and the 34 sort of sitting there, that 122.20 sort of areas, 30 areas. But thereafter, really, it could be a move back towards that, to say that 50 MA on the dailies. Okay, and finally Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar has been in a very tight sort of range, and there's no real difference here. It's run up during the Asian session. Could see it pushing back. Well, if it does push back up towards the 200, maybe up to Thursday's highs, is certainly a possibility. But short term below us, we've got the weekly pivot. Also, daily pivot's already hit, so it's really looking to see if it breaks this trend line on the analyses. May just come back to that weekly pivot very close, and you see how close the weekly pivot is relative to everything else, which shows how choppy it's really been. Any sort of rallies, well, as I say, would push us up towards Thursday's highs there, maybe, and the R2 area. Okay, news-wise, as I said already, we've got the special summit or special meeting for the Euro for Greece summit, and then we've got the Eurogroup meetings running all day today as well. So there's plenty to be spoken about. The Eurogroup meetings are held privately, but the ministers will speak from that. So expect volatility through certain periods during the daytime. And then this afternoon we've got the existing home sales in the US, which may just create a little bit of volatility. It's not a major one at the moment, but may still create a bit more volatility than it had previously. Okay, that's it for me. Have a great day. Bye for now.